ever get this feeling like different health things, like that bum shoulder you've had forever and uh, that kind of annoying digestive thing you get sometimes are like connected somehow? Well, today we're going to be diving into someone who spent his whole life trying to figure that out. Irvin M. Korr.
Oh, yeah. Korr's work is,
I've
um,
got a whole bunch of his papers right here. And let me tell you, this deep dive is going to like seriously change how you think about your health. So he was really fascinated by the nervous system.
what's so cool about Korr is that he was like way ahead of his time. He was really challenging the way everyone else was thinking about medicine back then. Like he looked at the nervous system and how it was involved in, yeah, like movement and stuff, but also how it plays a role in just like your overall health and even like disease.
Yeah, and he didn't just like talk about it or whatever this guy was, comparing the human body to like a railroad system in one paper.
I mean, he was a total innovator.
Yeah.
Korr truly believed that to really wrap your head around how complex the human body is, you got to look way beyond just like the symptoms,
Yeah.
You got to understand all those crazy ways our systems are talking to each other.
Okay, so let's get into like one of Korr's biggest ideas, right? He was really hung up on this whole idea that the neuromusculoskeletal system was like the quote primary machinery of life. What did he mean by that?
Okay, so picture this. The neuromusculoskeletal system is basically how you interact with the world, right? It's your movement, how you react to things, how you even experience everything around you. And Korr, he was saying that your organs, which he called the secondary machinery, are really there to like support all that primary machinery.
So it's like your body's a super high-tech race car, and the neuromusculoskeletal system is like the engine and the transmission and the frame. Those are key for the car to even move.
Exactly. And just like that race car needs fuel and cooling and all that to actually run, our bodies need our organs, that secondary machinery, to support everything the neuromusculoskeletal system's doing.
Mhm.
Korr was saying if there's a problem with the engine, it can impact the whole system, even if it doesn't seem connected at first.
That's a good analogy. It makes you think about how our bodies are always doing this intricate dance just to like keep everything running. So our bodies are like these crazy fine-tuned machines, right? But what happens when like something gets out of whack? Korr, he was super into this thing called the osteopathic lesion. Sounds kind of creepy, right?
Yeah, it does sound a little outdated, like something you'd find in an old medical textbook. But it's a really important idea in Korr's work. These days, we'd probably call it somatic dysfunction, which basically means there's some kind of restriction or dysfunction in like the musculoskeletal system, and it often starts in the spine.
Okay, so not like a scary lesion, more like I don't know, a glitch in the system or something. But why was Korr so obsessed with these dysfunctions, especially in the spine?
Well, you see, Korr, he was fascinated by the spine because to him, it was like this central communication hub where your nervous system and your musculoskeletal system are constantly chatting. He thought that even little dysfunctions in the spine, like a joint that's a bit stiff or some muscle tension, could mess with the signals your nervous system is sending out. And that could create like a ripple effect throughout your whole body.
He wasn't just like, what, feeling around for tight muscles, though, right? I read somewhere that Korr was using some pretty high-tech stuff for his time to study all these connections.
Oh, yeah, totally. Korr was seriously meticulous with his research. He wasn't just content to observe things, he had to measure them, quantify them. He used tools like, get this, skin resistance measurements to study what physiological changes were happening in the body because of these lesions.
Skin resistance, how's that even work?
It's actually pretty smart when you think about it.
Yeah.
So the electrical conductivity of your skin changes depending on stuff like sweat gland activity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's controlled by your nervous system. So by measuring these teeny tiny changes in skin resistance, Korr could actually see how nervous system activity was shifting. It was like he found a way to make the invisible visible.
Wow, that's pretty wild. Sounds like he was light years ahead with that way of thinking.
He really was a pioneer in a lot of ways. And one of his most groundbreaking discoveries was this idea of chronic segmental facilitation. Sounds complicated, but it's actually pretty easy to understand.
All right, hit me with it. What is this chronic segmental facilitation thing, and why should I care?
Okay, imagine you're constantly poking someone, like in the same exact spot, over and over. Eventually, they're going to get super sensitive to even the lightest touch in that spot.
Right?
That's kind of what happens with chronic segmental facilitation. Basically, a segment of your spinal cord gets stuck in overdrive because it's being constantly irritated by a musculoskeletal dysfunction.
So it's like that part of the nervous system is like on high alert all the time.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. This amped up activity in the spinal cord, it doesn't just stay put. It can set off a whole chain reaction of physiological changes all over your body. I'm talking muscle tension going haywire, blood flow changing, even messing with how your organs are working.
Hold up. You mean to tell me that something as simple as a stiff joint in my back can screw with how my organs function?
That's exactly what Korr's research was pointing to. He was showing how the nervous system is like this master conductor, coordinating and regulating everything that's going on in your body, and even little disruptions to that system can have some big consequences.
Like a domino effect, right? One little domino falls and boom, chain reaction.
Perfect analogy. Korr was showing us that our bodies aren't just a bunch of separate parts. They're interconnected systems, so a problem in one area can totally mess with the whole shebang.
Yeah.
And this is where his work starts to get really, really interesting.
Okay, so we've got all these ripple effects going on. So does that mean like our bodies are just kind of stuck with these disruptions, or like can we do anything about it?
Well, that's where Korr's work gets even cooler. See, he wasn't just interested in finding these connections. He was really blown away by how incredibly adaptable the body is.
So you're saying even when things go wrong, our bodies are trying to figure out how to keep going.
Exactly. Korr showed that our bodies are constantly responding to stress, whether it's coming from inside or outside, and they're always trying to maintain this balance, keep everything working as smoothly as possible,
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like our bodies are always solving problems, even if we don't even realize it. But I'm guessing those adaptations aren't always a good thing in the long run, are they?
That's a really good point. Like, in the short term, these adaptations are super helpful. Think about like if you sprain your ankle, your body immediately kicks into gear to start fixing things, reducing inflammation, and compensating for the injury, right?
Right.
But those same adaptations, if they stick around for too long, they can lead to new imbalances somewhere else.
It's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. It might seem okay for a bit, but sooner or later, you got to deal with the real problem.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Korr's work was this really powerful reminder that we can't just treat the symptom. We got to look at the whole picture, right? He was pushing for a more, holistic approach to health. One that takes into account how everything is connected, your physical structure, your nervous system, even your environment, everything.
This is starting to sound really different from that, like, old school medical model of find the problem, fix the problem.
Oh, totally. Korr was like, nope, not that simple. He was showing everyone that our health isn't just a checklist. It's this dynamic interplay of, countless factors. His research was like paving the way for a way more integrated approach to healthcare, one that actually considers the whole person, their past, their lifestyle, their surroundings, not just whatever symptom they're showing up with at that moment.
It's a completely different perspective, isn't it? Like seeing your body as this crazy interconnected system, not just a bunch of separate parts.
It really is. And that shift in perspective, it can be incredibly powerful because it opens up this whole new world of possibilities for how we heal and how we thrive.
Well, this deep dive has been really eye-opening, to say the least. I think our listeners are going to be looking at their bodies in a whole new light after this.
I hope so. Korr's work reminds us that we have this incredible capacity for healing, for self-regulation, but we have to actually be willing to listen to our bodies. We got to learn how to understand what they're trying to tell us.
So we're just about out of time, but what's like one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with from this deep dive into Irvin M. Korr's work?
I think the biggest thing is to remember that everything in your body is connected. The way you move, the way you deal with stress, how you eat, it all matters. Pay attention to those little signals your body's sending you, even the subtle ones, because they can be really important clues to understanding your overall well-being.
It's about tapping into our own, inner wisdom, right? Recognizing that our bodies are always talking to us, even if we don't realize it. Well, this has been an incredible journey into the world of Irvin M. Korr. We've explored his groundbreaking research, his super unique perspective on how the body is this crazy interconnected thing, and the implications his work has for understanding really what it means to be healthy.
Yeah, it's a legacy that continues to inspire. It challenges us to think differently about the human body and just how incredible it is at healing itself.
And on that note, we'll leave you with this thought. What hidden connections within your own body are just waiting to be discovered? Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.